All right. Welcome to another episode of Spare Time. I'm Carlos, and my guest today is another world-renowned electrician, my buddy Frank Elias. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. He's coming right off the job, so he's pretty worn out, he looks like.
Yeah, I guess I am. Kinda. World renowned, huh? I don't even know if people know me in my city block, to tell the truth.
Well, I pretty much make it sound like every one of my guests is famous.
Oh.
So the world-renowned part helps.
Yeah, it makes us feel a little better.
In our own little world, you're renowned.
Well, there's 24,000 people live in Roseburg, they say. I don't think that's true.
I think there's way more than that. But
yeah, we just got a paper saying 24,000. That's just in a city, though.
That's in the city limits, yeah. Nobody lives in city limits. Everybody lives in Green or Glide.
How many people you think live in Roseburg area?
I'd say 150, somewhere in there.
150,000 people here, huh?
That's a lot of electrical jobs, dude.
Yeah, a lot of electricians out there, too. A lot of companies. It's amazing how many companies are in Douglas County.
Yeah, and it's not just electricians, because I was talking to one of the food trucks a while back, and she was telling me that this year alone, I think she said 165 food trucks signed up for the year, paid or renewed their license or whatever they have to do.
How is there that many?
I don't know. That's probably including like catering vehicles and stuff too, but yeah, it doesn't seem like there's that many. No. But I guess every time I turn around, there's someone different on a different.
A lot of variety out there, that's for sure.
And I still can't get any of them to come hang out in my parking lot.
Yeah, this I just had this hot dog. There's a lot of them out there. I mean, it's hard to pick them.
Was it from that relish place or?
All I know is it was a big ass hot dog, and it had everything in it. It was a Chicago style.
So more traditional. I
don't know about that. One time I was at Seven Feathers trying to find it here, but there was this. I think it was a Chicago dog or the world famous big Chicago dog, and it was for like $24 for a freaking hot dog. But the curiosity got to me, so I bought it. And it wasn't worth $24. But it was actually maybe worth, it was still good. But I mean, you pick it up and it's stacked and half of it falls off before you can even sit down. And then you sit down and eat that thing, and by the time you sit down, it's all soggy. But it was good. It tasted good. I had to try it. $24, it was worth a try at least once. I don't mind just getting Oscar Mayer wieners and throwing mustard on that sucker, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't consider hot dogs food.
No.
And typically I don't consider restaurants that sell hot dogs restaurants. But I will say some of these food trucks and stuff that are like that relish dog. It doesn't look like a hot dog at all. I mean, you got to serve it in like a big bowl thing so that you can even eat it, and you can't use your hands.
Oh, I know. You're just picking it. Yeah. You get your. Like you need a fork,
knife, yeah.
And then you pick it, and then you're full by the time you're done, though.
Yeah. No, and those are like gourmet meals. It's not a hot dog.
I like chili dogs.
Yeah, I like stuff with chili on it, so it doesn't.
Yeah, anything with chili's good.
Chili burger, chili's good.
Frito pie.
Yeah.
I mean, I go home and put that together, and it's great.
That's bachelor style right there.
Oh, yeah.
That takes me back.
Well, even ramens.
Yeah.
I'm not a bachelor, but I mean, even ramens, you can put whatever you want in that sucker. You can put soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, whatever you want. That sucker tastes great. Mm-hmm. I mean,
I had one of my customers that was trying to tell me that you could make that taste like pad thai by adding, I think he added the chili sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't think of what it's called, but it's like a chili paste sauce. He adds that and a scoop of peanut butter in it.
Peanut butter?
Peanut butter. Well, because usually pad thai has like peanut sauce in it. So he puts the peanut butter in there.
Creamy?
I'm assuming, yeah. Anyways, so my daughter and I tried it. Definitely did not taste like pad thai, but it wasn't bad. I'm not a huge ramen fan, but or whatever. I'll try different things. I don't care.
Oh, man. Yeah. Like speaking of peanut butter, I used to eat creamy peanut butter growing up, you know. I was like, I don't want no stupid nuts in my peanut butter. I just want regular, you know,
creamy,
creamy peanut butter. And then I started eating, I had one with peanuts in it, and man, I can't eat it without it now.
Never went back.
Boring.
Yeah.
Creamy's just boring. And yeah, Jif. I'm a Jif eater.
Yeah.
Skippy's just not sweet enough or something. I'm not sure.
Although I just recently, the last like 2 years, discovered the whole adding honey to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I had never tried it that way. And then
what?
Adding honey.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good.
I had never tried it, but now I pretty much don't eat a PB&J without it.
Yeah. How about marshmallow cream?
Never done that.
I guess they call it like the Boston cream sandwich. That's what I heard they call it, the Boston. And I tried it when I was probably 14, and gosh, it's great.
I had a burger in Vegas, though, that had peanut butter and jelly on it, and that was freaking awesome.
Hamburger?
Yeah, it was a big-ass cheeseburger with PB&J and bacon. And
well, anything with bacon's good, though.
It was crazy. It seemed like they belonged together when he had that burger, though.
Really?
Yeah, you'd never expect it.
But you won't make one at home?
I don't know. I don't get crazy with my burgers and stuff at home. I'll try some crazy combinations with, like, you know, barbecue and stuff like that, but I've stuffed some random stuff in meat, you know, and smoked it.
Well, it's amazing. You can go to a restaurant, and the thing is, you can go at home and make the exact same thing, but it's just not the same for some reason. I don't know what it is, you know, like
because you're not a chef.
Yeah, I do it too. I do make a good steak, though. I do make a pretty good steak. I think the secret on a barbecue, if you have like a 4-burner, I get my steak, I put it in the middle, I turn the middle burners to low, so it's just, you don't want to go high there, and then the outside burners I go high, so it kind of circulates the heat inside, you know, and it cooks it perfect.
Yeah.
I never put the flame right underneath the meat. It's going to cook it too quick, the outside, but
I use a pellet smoker grill. So the flame isn't. In fact, they've got the flames underneath some kind of flame guard. So it's just heat that you're cooking with.
Just like a stove.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you can adjust how much smoke's going in there at the same time.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to get used to it because, you know, before that I was used to just a propane grill or a charcoal grill where the heat's like right there. So you can cook stuff really fast. But on this, it takes a little bit longer, but stuff's juicier, tastes better, I think.
Yeah. Nothing's like the charcoal old-fashioned, but it takes too long, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you're out there for 45 minutes just getting the...
I mean, maybe if you're going to have like a get-together and this awesome barbecue, but if you're just doing it every day, just do it on a propane one, you know?
I had a buddy, he used to always use just one of those Weber charcoal grills. Yeah. But he was like an expert with it, but the drawbacks to him is, number one, it takes like 45 minutes to get your briquettes going. And number two, you have a short window to cook everything. So if you got a big group of people,
oh yeah,
you gotta you almost gotta start over again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But the flavor's
different. Yeah. Well, you can always add that flavor on the propane ones too. They have the barbecue pellet things you put on there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But that's just fake.
By the time, typically though, if I'm the one grilling, I'm also drinking at the same time. So I have to gauge how good it is by everybody's reaction, because by the time I eat,
you're drunk already. You can't even taste
everything tastes great, you know? And I'm not very hungry anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so Tell me, how are things been going? How's the electrical business?
It's going good. I mean, we finally got caught up for a couple of days, and then,
Caught up for a couple
the
days.
worst feeling is there's two worst feelings when you're too far behind and you're making customers wait. I mean, I hate making them wait, and then when you're caught up, when you're almost caught up and you can see it, and that's even a worse feeling because then you have your workers and all, you're thinking about them and their families and stuff. You never want to get caught up, but then again, you never want to make customers wait. So in other words, you're never relaxed.
Yeah. Well, I think that goes for any business.
Yeah, any business. And, they say business owners,
Yeah, we got it made.
yeah, we got it made. You hear so many times, you're your own boss. You got your own hours. Take vacation whenever you want. I mean, that's so far from the truth. I mean, every customer is your boss, for one thing.
Yep.
Hours, it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Well, I mean, if you're conscientious about your business, it is.
Yeah, if you want it to grow,
Yeah.
you got to put 100% into it, 125%. Even 100% is not enough. And I feel like I don't put 125% into it sometimes, and you can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it'll catch up on you really quick if you don't, that's for sure. But yeah, we're finally a little bit caught up, and I was thinking, my gosh, what's going on here? And then next day, 8 calls, in one day or whatever, and you're back in the same boat again. But I guess you just keep on going. That's all you can do.
I know you've got a pretty good name for yourself. So, I mean, I've referred some people to you, and I've used you before for stuff, and but everyone I talk to seems to say nothing but good things about you. So.
Well, yeah, it's just the number one thing in any business is customer service. I mean, you might not be in the best mood sometime or whatever. You go to customers' homes, well, they can't see that part of it. They have to see the best parts, and then the quality of work has to show too. And
I can't even picture you in a bad mood.
I hide it well, I guess. I go home and, kick the cat, and
I'm not as good at hiding it. So.
Well, yeah. Well, Shannon sometimes probably can tell you different, but I mean, she has a lot of patience, that's for sure.
Well, I think that's how you know when you got a good wife is when they put up with your crap.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And probably vice versa. That's a good relationship.
Yeah.
They put up with your crap, you put up with their crap.
Well, when you're married, they're married to the business too. Because, you have all these crazy hours. You never come home at a certain time to eat. You never, it's just, they're into it just like you are, pretty much. I mean,
my wife and kids, my whole family, they all know.
Yeah.
That I'm always working. Like, and once in a while, my wife will get on me a little bit. She'll be like, it's fine. It'll be there in a little bit, But for the most part, she understands. She doesn't give me a hard time. I'll be sitting at home at 10 o'clock at night, and somebody will email me something or whatever, and I'll be on my phone responding. And I try and be proactive. If I put things off, then I feel bad for customers. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, a good business owner will feel that for the customers. I mean, they'll show compassion for the customers. And I mean, maybe after years and years of course you can be scabbed from that, but I mean, that's when you maybe should get out of the business, because customers are always first. That's just how it is, no matter what.
I think even if I had somebody that was like doing that for me,
yeah,
I would still probably be constantly keeping an eye on things and randomly checking just to make sure things are getting done the way that I would want them to be done. Not so much micromanaging, but maybe a little bit,
Yeah, but you do hear of businesses that don't do what you just said, and next thing you know, you got bad reports, you got bad reviews. You're like, where'd this come from? Well, maybe the manager isn't following what you believe, or whatever. I mean, it's good to stay on top of stuff, that's for sure. But micromanaging, that can be bad too, because then your workers are like, you don't trust me? if you train your managers or your second in command, I mean, train them like you were trained. Your whole goal is for your managers and second in command to be better than you anyways, like my apprentice or whatever. You want them to be better than you so they can take over and be better and make the business better. That's just how it is. I mean, just like a dad and a kid, you want your son or daughter to be better than you,
Well,
right?
that's the whole goal.
That's
yeah.
your whole goal. I mean,
Yep.
that's how it should be in business too.
Yeah.
It's
I
your
agree.
kid. So, yeah. Yeah, there's many good electricians out there, great companies. I try to get along with all of them pretty much, and we work together. I mean, there's a few companies out there that we do work together. I refer business to others, and if they're too busy, they'll refer it to us. So it's pretty neat. I mean, maybe back in when the recession was real bad, back in, what was it, 2008?
Yeah.
It was tough. I mean, there was...
I remember back then, that was before I had this business. I was at Lowe's working, and at the same time that was going on, my wife had to leave work.
Mhm.
We weren't married at the time. We were just dating, but she had to leave work to take care of her niece and nephew. And so basically we started living off of my income alone, and that wasn't enough. So then I started a little handyman business on the side. Totally unlicensed, no bond, just illegal as hell. And all I did, I made 12 flyers on my computer. Not professional at all, dude. Just like clip art with freaking handyman. And I put them up in 55 and older trailer parks.
Yeah.
And I was so busy, I was using my vacation time to do jobs for these folks in these old folks RV parks, or not RV parks, but trailer parks. And it was stupid stuff like changing light bulbs, and my smoke detector's been chirping for weeks. And I'm like, well, you just need to put a new battery in it. And they're like, oh, well, can you do that for me? And it was stuff like that. And I painted a lot of decks. And what was funny though was people would ask me, well, do you have any references? And I'd be like, well, no, I'm just getting started. And just so you know, I'm not licensed or anything, do handyman work. And they're like, so you don't have any references? And I'm like, no, I work at Lowe's, and this is just to supplement my income. And they're like, oh, well, you work at Lowe's, it's okay. And I was like, well, I'm not representing Lowe's here, but they figured just since I work there, I must be good enough to be a handyman.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I am licensed and bonded.
Yeah, for sure. But I felt bad because I had lots of friends that were contractors at the time.
Yeah.
That were struggling, not getting enough business. And, here I am. But I was doing jobs that none of them were willing to do. There were too small jobs for those guys. And I was like, I'll do anything. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. When I started, I had a small little ad in the paper, fans, paddle fans and lights. And I had it in Umpqua Shopper for probably 6 months. And it was busy.
Is Umpqua Shopper even?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But that was a while back.
You probably had the same clientele that I did.
Yeah, they said
that's who read the Umpqua Shopper.
They said some guy from Lowe's came here and tried to put this fan up, and he missed a few blades and unbalanced, and I went there and fixed it for you. No,
I was pretty scared to try anything I had never done multiple times. So there was lots of jobs where they'd ask me to do stuff, and I would be like, "You should probably call a regular contractor for that."
Well, yeah, I mean, it was busy, just those little things. I mean, it was mostly elderly people, retired people who called us or called me, and I was busy, and I took it off after 6 months because it was.
I can't keep up.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up with just stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of elderly people out there who can't do those simple things, and those are the ones that kept me busy back then.
Yeah, well, I think just those flyers on the bulletin board at those 55 and older parks was brilliant marketing for the time, because they had no clue who to call. Like every single one of them. I've been trying to get this done forever, but I didn't know who to call. And then I'd do something for one, and their neighbor would call me, and then someone else. Dude, I'd end up in the same park for like weeks. But I did that for like 2 years, and by then I hadn't had a day off in 2 years, and I was so burned out. So I was like, oh, I'm done doing this.
Yeah, and that's where that attitude, you probably had a good attitude, were nice. And I mean, if you would have went to your first job and was a jerk, even if you did a good job, they probably wouldn't have told their neighbor.
Yeah.
Or maybe they would have, but maybe not.
Yeah, I was just hustling. I was just hustling, trying to make do for my family at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, entrepreneurship, that's always been, well, my brothers, all of us, even my dad, I mean, he wanted a small, I never knew this a few years ago, because we were always trying to do our little thing, and my dad's always like, nah, don't do that when we're growing up. But, I didn't know when he was growing up, he actually, he tried doing small businesses too, and I never realized that. He claims he discovered the disco ball.
Oh, yeah?
Well, no, he said he made some kind of a disco ball back when he was a teenager that was, I don't know. He explained how he did it, and he was trying to sell them and stuff. And I was like, man, really? You're the one that told us doing your own business was a bad idea, I mean, you always try talking us out of this and all this, because he believes that you work someplace where it's for sure work, like maybe Rosebrook Forest Products. I worked there for 12 years, and my dad was there for 30, 40 years, or maybe even longer. And that's a for sure thing. You got insurance, you got steady work, you got all this and this, and that's safe. And so he would try talking us out of, anything that's not safe. But
that was the era.
Yeah,
we were talking about that on a past episode of the podcast about how, it used to be everybody just trained it into your head. You get a good job with benefits and retirement and blah 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 blah, or you go to school, get your degree so that you can get a really high paying job. And blah, blah, blah. But those were the two paths. There was no other path.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not so much like that anymore. I mean, in fact, I think you got to really work hard or come from a family that's already got you kind of set up in order to be able to go to school long enough to freaking get a degree to do something you're going to make good money at. Because otherwise, you can go straight into trades and make more money right out of high school, or you can, and there's not so many just flat out jobs that you can go straight into and make good enough money to support a family on.
Oh yeah. Trades is a thing.
Yeah.
And I encourage everyone I talk to, all the younger guys, I encourage them to go on some kind of trade, plumbing, carpentry, electrician, HVAC, something, because I mean, you can go to 4 years of electrical school and you won't even pay 1 year of regular college. I mean, it's that much cheaper. And, and as soon as you start an apprenticeship, you're getting paid while you're going to school right then, as soon as you get in. And so I encourage everyone to do that. I mean, everyone who doesn't know what they want to do.
And every trade program is not the same, but most of them are they've got their stuff figured out.
What's that?
Trade programs.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
most of them are set up so that you're making money while you're going through the schooling.
Well, on an electrical, you have to get paid while you're going to school.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. Apprenticeship is you have to work while you're going to school. That's just part of it. It's 8,000 hours of work experience. And
How long does it take you to put in 8,000 hours?
Well, I mean, it's about a 4-year program. I mean, you can get it done earlier if you bust ass, but the thing is, you have to go to school, and they have certain classes at certain times, so you can't go too quick, because even if you have 10,000 hours of work, you're all done. You still got to go to school. You still got to get your 600 hours of school in, and sometimes I don't have
all that information.
Huh?
And retain all that
Oh,
information.
yeah, you know, I mean, some of it you do, some of it you don't. Most of it you learn out in the field anyways. Um, but I'm telling you, it's the way to go. And I encourage kids. I mean, we have kids calling us, asking us if we're hiring. And what I've been telling them, you know, if you're really interested in getting into an electrical program, of course, talk to the coordinator, but Kayleen Williams at IEC. I tell them, you know, call companies and at least say, hey, do you need a laborer? Do you need a laborer to help you out? You know, and most companies will hire a laborer before they'll hire an apprentice because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that a laborer can do, and he can see if he wants to actually be in the program, and the boss can see if he can actually handle it.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't do certain things legally at all, but you can at least help out with the labor part.
Well, anymore, I mean, that's good because you could at least see if they're going to show up. You know, do they have a good work ethic, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's these days.
It's hard to find that.
These days,
yeah.
It's hard to get anyone even to show up on time to even for an interview. And then resumes, I mean, do they exist anymore? And if they do, yeah, and you know, when you graduated, how do you prove you even have a diploma anymore? I mean, you can say, yes, I graduated. Most people don't even ask for the diploma, do they?
I've never, ever. I mean, the whole reason I got a GED was because I didn't graduate high school, and then I started working, and I was trying to find better jobs, but everything asked for a high school diploma or GED. And so I went and got my GED, which was super simple. And when I got it, I was like, why did I wait to do this for so long? But I got it, and then was never asked to prove it ever in my life. And I was like, why? How? I mean, I was trained I was pushed into my head my whole life that you had to have that to do anything because you couldn't even get a job without it. Well, all I had to do was write yes on an application, and that was it.
I mean, it's great. I want people to graduate.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, then you accomplish something. If you can't accomplish a GED or a diploma, you can't finish nothing. I mean, you know, a boss may think you may not be able to finish anything if you can't finish at least that, you know. Yeah. I mean, of course, that's not the case in all scenarios. I mean, I know a lot of people who didn't graduate, and they're hard workers, smart, you know, but you can't, there's no way of proving it these days, really, and no one asks for your diploma physically anymore.
Well, half the I don't even accept applications. I only accept resumes. So the only information I get is what's on their resume and what I get out
past jobs is what's on a resume, right? Usually.
And a lot of places, a lot of people will just put where they went to school or, you know, the years that they went to school or whatnot. And I mean, this isn't a professional career here. So, I mean, I'm not really digging into that, but unless I put the effort into verifying it, they can put whatever they want. Yeah.
Well, to get in a program, you do have to prove you got your GED or your diploma.
Yeah.
You have to prove that. And then,
well, I'm sure they're actually looking at transcripts or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit more stricter than that, but I mean,
overall, I think it's a great idea. We kind of just jumped right into you talking about being an electrician, but tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man, from where you started to how you ended up where you're at now.
Well, I was born here, and actually I was born in the Douglas Community Hospital when it was right there where...
Right on Harvard.
Yeah, right where Mountain Mike's is, right? That area right there. Yep. Yeah.
That's where my oldest daughter was born.
Yeah, I mean, and then I've lived here all my life, pretty much, and went to Riddle Elementary, Riddle High School. Man, my parents, though, I tell you, 3 boys. We kept them on our toes, that's for sure.
Where are you at in the?
I'm the middle.
You're the middle?
Yeah. So I learned from the oldest, and made sure I didn't do what he did. I perfected everything, had to get in trouble without getting caught and all that stuff. But
do you match up to the memes and TikTok videos of that middle child?
I don't know. I didn't watch that. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know about that. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, well, they
about
all
the
say
middle.
that the middle child is the craziest kid.
Oh no, that could be true, but I never in school. I got along with the teachers really well, but I knew how to. Because my older brother, he would get the teachers didn't like him very much. There's a few of them that didn't, and they liked me because I knew how to. I was always nice to the teachers. I had respect for them, but I also was a goof off. And my younger brother, great kid, great attitude. Not a kid anymore. He's 46, but yeah. Went to Riddle. Got in the military when I was 19. I was in the Navy. In 90, I got in the Navy in 90, into 90. Got married in 91. Been married since 91, I should say.
So did you meet your wife in the Navy?
No, I met her in high school.
Oh.
11th grade, actually. Actually, she helped me out with a lot of homework, a lot of the essays, she got me through high school.
But behind every man, there's a good woman, right? That's what they say.
Yeah, she got me through high school, and because I wasn't going to graduate either, really. I turned around 11th grade. I knew I wasn't going to make it. My dad said, "Hey, join the military." Sure, I'll join the military. As soon as I joined the first Gulf War, I was sent to the Persian Gulf as soon as I started, and my dad
and your dad was like, "Well, that was a bad idea."
No, yeah, but he was in Vietnam.
Yeah,
and then my grandpa, he's a veteran too. He was in
World War II.
Yeah, so we were all in some kind of conflict, which is kind of.
That's a good tradition.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah. But yeah, and then after the service, I lived in San Diego, of course. That's where I was stationed, and then lived in, hate to say California, but I lived in California for a couple years, LA County.
In the service?
After the service. I worked with my uncle for TCI Cablevision, and I used to gaff poles, with gaffs, telephone poles, and that was crazy because
that's like the freaking ninja climbing thing.
Yeah, and it's actually easier than you think. As soon as you start climbing, you don't stop. You don't want to stop. You just keep on going until you hit a crack in the wood, and then your gaff goes right through it, and then you end up sliding down the pole. We never even had, you're supposed to have, straps around your body like the loggers do. You know how they climb trees with that?
Yeah.
We used arms. That's all we used, and we'd climb up, and then we'd strap on and we were on top. So there was this coworker that actually went through the canyon of a log where it's cut, his gaff went through it, and he came down, and he tried grabbing it, trying to hold himself up, and he slid down.
So many slivers.
And they went through his biceps. And we would have to go and cut people's cable because they wouldn't pay. And I remember these people were partying at this house, and I was like, got a work order to go turn the cable off. I wasn't going to knock on the door. So I climbed that pole, gaffed up there, and all right, here it goes. Clip. I think it was during a football game or something, and you hear screaming, "What the heck?" They were all pissed off, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
And you're trying to hurry up and get out of there.
I couldn't get down fast enough. I don't even remember gaffing down. I was on the ground because they'll make you stay up there. It was in a bad neighborhood. Screw that. I cut it and took off, and you can have that converter box. I don't care. I ain't going to collect it. But I did that for a while, and then my dad said they were hiring at Roseburg Forest Products, and so I came back here and worked at Dillard Particle Board when it was open, and worked there for about 12 years. 12 or 10 years. And they had an apprenticeship opening when I was there about 5 years. And I signed up for that and got into the program. I went a year of school just to get my points up and to look better to get in the program.
That was to be an electrician.
to be an electrician in a mill to even sign up to get the apprenticeship. So I went just so I can look better on the selection. And so I got in the program there and was a plant electrician there for a little while as an apprentice. But I've always wanted my own business too, and I mean, even as a teenager, I wanted my own business. And actually, before I got in the electrical program, I had a mobile oil. I used to go to people's houses and change their oil for them on their vehicles.
That was something you started on your own?
Yeah. And I bought these oil filters. I mean, bulk. I mean, I had lots of different sizes and kinds and stuff. And I wasn't a mechanic. I didn't know too much. I'm glad that business didn't work out.
You started your business. You were unlicensed.
Oh man! I mean, I think my parents still have those filters in their barn. After all these years, I think they have stacks and stacks of these. I did one job, and
highly successful
business. And the way I had two jacks, I said I went to their houses. I said, "How am I going to lift these cars up?" So I got two jacks. I made this makeshift bar between these two jacks. So I pushed that bar down, and so both jacks would pump this car up. You could pick up a pretty big back of a vehicle, whatever.
Yeah.
My first customer was an RV. And I was like, "What the hell? How am I going to change this RV?" And well, I did it, and so back then, I didn't get the most expensive oil. I got the cheapest oil there was. I was just starting out, and I didn't know. I should have did more research, of course, but it was just an entrepreneur brain, just get this business going. And they started it up, and it stunk. That cheap oil makes a motor smell like it's burnt right away. But that was my first and only customer, because I didn't think I was cut out. I didn't want to get sued. I didn't want to blow up some vehicle. Luckily, that thing didn't blow up.
You just start the realization of all the
realization
the repercussions
of
you
everything.
Screwing something up.
Yeah, and then but that was a long time ago. That was like 20-some years ago, maybe even 30. What, 30 years ago?
Probably 30, yeah.
Yeah, probably so. By then, But I've always had things in my head, wanted to get my own business going. I thought I was going to be an HVAC guy when I was in high school. My goal was to be an HVAC. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what HVAC stood for back then, but it was just my brain, Go to Arizona. There's a school in Arizona. Do that and become your own business or own boss. But I never followed through with that. But, I think me, all the people that have their own businesses, they've always had that in their head and heart. When they were young, they grew up thinking that. And you can tell, I mean, you talk to someone who owns a business, they've always wanted to do it.
I always wanted to have a business,
mm-hmm.
but I never knew. I never had any plan of what kind of business I would ever have.
And it's so complicated.
I just wanted to be the boss.
Yeah, I guess, I'm not sure if that was my drive, is to be the boss and boss people around or nothing like that. I just wanted to build something.
Yeah.
And leave something behind that's yours, and that's another goal of all of us entrepreneurs. We all want to leave our legacy of some kind, and that's our goal, and you want to make it grow. And that's what I'm hoping, is my apprentices and the people who are going to take over, you want them to make your business bigger and carry on, I guess.
Well, I think it's happening for you. I mean, just since I've known you, and we've been on each other for what, 5 years now?
Well, we both got in the tip.
Yeah.
I got in the tip in 2019. So 2020.
I was
5 years.
At the end there, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years.
But you didn't even have an apprentice then. It was just you.
Yeah.
And now you've had your apprentice has just finished his schooling.
Yeah.
And now you have another helper that's going to
Yeah.
become an apprentice, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, you went from just yourself to 2 employees, and in a trade, that's a lot of employees.
Well, yeah.
It's different. It's different than having like my little store, whatever. But
And that's amazing, though. It's crazy how as soon as you do have, employees, it changes everything because now you have a lot more pressure.
yeah, well, and you have a lot more overhead.
Yeah, the overhead, yeah, of course. And then the pressure of, because they have families, and then you just, oh crap, I got to support everyone. I got to support their kids. And, there's a lot of pressure, and it's the owner never rests. That's just how it is. It's just, people don't realize it, I don't think, they don't realize, and then how hard it is for the licenses and all the red tape involved in having your own business is just crazy. It's just how much we pay on taxes after tax. Well, everyone pays a lot on taxes, triple taxed for, I mean,
I didn't realize when I started, I didn't realize. I just kind of thought that you become a business owner and instantly all this stuff happens for you. Like I was thinking in my head, great, I'll get this business and then I'll be able to do this and I'll be able to do that and I'll be able to pay this off and I'll be able to do this. But it's not like that. I mean, you become a business owner and then you're instantly hit with a million things you didn't even realize was part of the job that somebody was doing before you took it over or before you started it. All the bookkeeping and all the other little things. And it sounds like we're both complaining about being business owners, but that's not what I'm saying. It's just there's a lot more to it than people that have never had a business realize. All of the struggles are amplified tenfold. I mean, you really focus in on every little detail and, stress about it.
Well, you have to trust your workers so much. And in my field, you have to trust them because there's lives at stake, I mean, even not just when you leave that job, years down the road, if you didn't do something right, you're liable.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear the scanner. I listen to the scanners and I hear about a house fire or whatever. I'm telling you.
You're checking the address to see if you ever worked.
It's not because of something we did, but I go to, there's, and all electrician owners can relate. You may go to a job and do something there, knowing that the owner, or not knowing, they've done work before you even got there. Their part might burn up, but your part's on the permit. Yeah. You're the last one there by paper. And if it burns up, you're liable. You can get put in prison for killing people. I mean, there's so much liability involved.
Yeah.
At least you can do is trust your workers. Make sure they do everything right. It's
my old rental that we were living in. One day we were sitting in our dining room and I leaned back in the chair against the wall, and it was like the wall was freaking hot as hell. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. And so I like feeling it, and for sure it was probably 100 degrees. That wall was probably 100 degrees, which isn't, roasting, but it was hot.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. And then I'm like, wait a second. The electrical panel is on the back side of this freaking wall. And so electrical, kind of scares me. So I was like, I immediately called my landlord and I was like, hey, I think we got an issue here. The wall on the back side of the electrical panel is like roasting hot. And the electrical panel was in this little tiny closet. So I opened the door and I put a fan in there blowing on the electrical panel. And the landlord's like, well, we'll get an electrician out right away. And that was the only time in the 5, 6, 7 years that I lived in that house that the landlord actually took care of something wrong.
Wow.
And the electrician called us a couple hours later. He came out, and the electrician showed up, and he looked at it, and it was the same electrician whose sticker was in the electrical panel. Mm-hmm. And he looked at it, and he's like looking around the house, and he's shaking his head, and he's like, I upgraded this electrical panel, but this is not where I put it.
Yeah.
Apparently, it used to be
they added a
into
closet.
the dining room.
Okay.
And so it wasn't in this little tiny closet. And he was so mad that somebody had relocated his work.
Yeah.
And anyways, they fixed it. They got it all figured out. But he said for sure we needed to call him, though, because it was...
Well, you can't even have panels in closets.
Yeah, it was an overload, and there was no ventilation, and it was a mess. He put it back where he had it originally, and...
Yeah.
But he was so mad because I think he could have been held liable if something happened in that house from the electrical panel, even though somebody...
Yeah.
Probably the landlord's handyman had relocated it when they did a little remodel or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of us has. You know, I mean, we are given, having your own business, you know, we're giving it a hard time right now, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't do anything else still. I mean, it's hard, but it's still worth it. I mean, I think if I stopped doing this and did work for someone else, I would always still, man, I got to do my own thing, you know, and it's definitely worth it no matter how hard it is. If it's in your heart, you won't be satisfied until you do, and you stay this way, you know, in your own business.
Well, and the positive feedback, when you get that good feedback from customers or just random people in the community who have heard about you or whatever.
Yeah.
It feels that much better. I mean, when it's your baby, you know, you're like,
you know, my greatest feeling, and it's still weird. I maybe I'm the only one, maybe not, but it's when I get stuff inspected and they pass you without any question, you know, I'm like it reminds me back in high school when I pass a test and the teacher's all proud of you. It's a weird feeling. I don't know. It just, to me, it makes my day. It makes my week when I pass something without any, maybe because I flunked so much in high school. I'm not used to it. I don't know that could be it. And
well, I mean, it's probably a lot of stress, and then that instantly stress relief. You're like, well, yes, we did it.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome, dude. That's awesome. I think, I've had friends in the past who started businesses or whatnot. I've got a couple of friends that have had their own business for years. And I feel bad because I've never really told them how awesome that is, you know? Because I guess I never realized how awesome it is until I did it myself.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of have to have started a business or own a business to truly appreciate other people that do the same thing.
Yeah, just like restaurants.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was like, man, I want to get a bar. I want to get a restaurant.
I still want a bar.
I mean, you watch movies and you see how you just see the best parts of it. The owner coming out and talking to people out in the, you know, who are eating, and they're like talking about the owner and the glamour and all that. And then you hear the reality of it and how hard it is for these restaurants to even stay open and all the work they put in. I mean, I think I'm busy. Man, a restaurant owner, just like Bryant, that poor guy, he is overworked. Yeah. Great food, great everything. But man, any of these owners, they're there hours and hours and hours that you don't even think they're there. They're there.
Yeah.
Just getting stuff prepared, and then all the overhead, and I just, you know, I have respect for any restaurant owner out there. I just, especially during a COVID thing, that was just crazy, you know.
Like I said, I've respect for any business now, any small business.
Yeah.
I try and give them my business. I freaking am super kind to them, and I tip well, and all that stuff is just stemmed from learning from my own self. It's just you really learn to appreciate that. So, but so obviously you like it. You want to keep doing it. You said you were in the Navy. How long were you in the Navy?
I was only in 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. 2 in and then 8 inactive.
You were like, yeah, that's a bad idea. Your
I'm going to tell.
Your girlfriend at the time was like, what the fuck? Dude?
No. Here's the thing. And I tell people this. If you're going to go into service, nothing against recruiters, but don't listen to what they say right away. Do your own research. When I joined, he said boiler technician. I was a boiler technician in the Navy. And that's in a boiler down in the bottom of the ship.
Sweating your ass.
Well, it was an old ship. In fact, we decommissioned it. It was so old. And decommission means you take it out in the sea and blow it up when you're done because it's so old. And there were so many steam leaks down in the engine room that it got to 160 degrees. So we all had vents to stand under. And I was a low man on the totem pole there, so I didn't have a vent. So I had to share with people and go to each one. And I'm telling you, boiler technician back then, 1992 and 91, it sucked. It really did. It was, in fact, I loved going to KP duty, kitchen patrol, where the bad people go. When you get in trouble, you got to do laundry and all that. I looked forward to doing that.
I bet.
But I'm telling you, if I was to do it over, I would get good grades in high school, try to get good grades, and then go to the ROTC and be an officer. Go to officer training school because they pay your college. You get out of college and you're an officer as soon as you're in the service automatically. Yeah. And you get paid way more. You do less physical labor and people salute you. I mean, it's the way to go. But these days, kids want to be, no, I want to shoot guns. I just want to be infantry. I want to do this and this. They want what they see on TV and stuff. But when they get in, they're like, oh, crap. Yeah. I'm saluting everyone. I'm on the bottom of the list here. I got to do this. Officer training school is the way to go. Get good grades. Go to 4 years. They'll pay your school. And then you get out in a service. 20 years, you're retired. Man, we would have been retired. You join, you're 18, 38 years old. You're collecting money from the government. Yeah, and then you can do your own thing.
I don't think it would have been a whole lot of money because we were in the military about the same time, and I'm pretty sure I was making like $1,200 a month in the Army.
But what was your rank? What
I
were
was
you?
Private,
You were private,
but I thought I was going to get rich when I joined the Army.
Oh man,
no, it's not happening.
No, you can drink when
you work 24 hours a day and you get $1,200 a month or some shit.
Yeah. You can drink when you're 18. That's about it. But if you were an officer, you would have got 3 times as much.
Yeah.
And
I can't badmouth my recruiter too much because it was my dad.
Oh.
And
oh wow.
I'm pretty sure that he just talked me into joining because he saw how much trouble I was getting into, and he's like thinking that would get me out of keep me from getting any more trouble.
Do you think kids should have to go to military after high school for 2 years? And if they do, then they get their school paid for. They get all this, there's people who think they should, people who think they shouldn't. What do you think?
It'd be an awesome idea, dude.
Yeah.
2 to 4 years. They learn. I think people would be a lot happier in the long run because they'd end up doing things that they actually want to do. So I think a lot of kids, they start on a path right out of high school without really having any idea what they want to do. They just, their parents or their friends or somebody kind of suggested it or bullied them into it. And that's kind of what they do. And, I think that's why so many people go to school for 4 or 6 or however many years they go to school, and then do absolutely nothing with what they went to school
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Because by the time they finished school, they discovered that they had no interest really in that, or it's not what they thought it was, or whatever. And I don't think it's a waste of schooling, because anymore it doesn't matter what you went to school for. They just ask for a degree, and if you have that level of degree, you can get that job. But I mean, I think it'd be a lot. I think people end up with a lot happier lives that way. I think. Plus, they're defending the country. They learn more about being an American. They learn more about responsibility and respect.
Yeah, definitely.
And friendship, for sure. I mean, you really learn about friendship in the military.
You definitely know how to treat your elders.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, when you get out, I mean, you learn respect. You learn, there's so much stuff in the military you do learn.
And I think the military has gotten a lot better in that aspect from when we were in. When we went in, you just went in the military. They taught you what they wanted to teach you, and then sent you to your job, and that was it. Now, especially the Navy, my daughter was just in the Navy. Well, it's been a few years now, but she was in the Navy. I was blown away by the stuff that they taught her at boot camp.
Yeah.
Like, there was a whole spot of boot camp that all they were teaching those kids was how to build their credit, how to pay their bills,
Wow,
how to responsibly manage their money.
Wow, that's...
They had like a whole sit down with a person from the bank who explained how to apply for loans, how to build their credit, all that stuff. And that was part of boot camp. And I was like, wow, dude, why didn't they do that when I was a kid? I would have been, I mean, all I did was got some money and just pissed it away. So,
yeah.
I learned, my daughter was teaching me the stuff that she learned there. And I was like, wow, that's...
Why don't they advertise that on when they try recruiting people? These commercials and stuff. Why don't they advertise actually what you'll learn? They don't. They don't advertise that enough about the military.
The Navy's too worried about advertising freaking dudes in dresses and stuff nowadays.
Well,
we're all, most of my employees are veterans, so they've got lots of buddies that are veterans, or some of them that are still in, and then like Sean, his kids are like half of his kids are in the military, so he gets nonstop. They're talking and sending each other memes and stuff. And he was showing me one the other day that was saying that the military is going to allow people to re-enlist up to 70 years old now.
Oh, I might just do it.
It's like, oh my God. And I don't know how much of it's true and how much of it's just made up stuff because it's funny on the internet, but we laugh about that stuff all the time.
Dang.
What's your take on that whole military after high school thing, though?
Well, what I think is, okay, when you graduate, you don't know what you want. You kind of do. You think you know what you want. You don't really know how the real world is. So I think you should take off a year. Get your brain open and do a few jobs here and there. You're going to realize when you do these jobs, oh crap, this isn't what I want. I want to do something with my life. You got to give, because if you just go to college or after high school, your brain still doesn't know what it's going to be, what's ahead of you. I mean, you go to high school, straight to college, you don't know you don't even know what's out there at all. So if you take a year off, just take a year off, work at these crappy places, McDonald's, whatever. You're going to realize, oh crap, I want an education, or I'm going to be doing this forever, or military, or whatever. But you need at least, I think, a year off of high school, after high school. I remember when I was...
for strip clubs.
Around here?
No, but I'm just saying in general. That'd be a good workforce out there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Well, I guess. But yeah, if you take a year off, it at least points you to the right direction. Because I mean, if I would have took a year off right out of high school instead of just going right to the military, I would at least talk to the right people and knew where to go in the military, you know. Or if I went straight to college, well, yeah, I'm going to do this and this in college. Oh, I don't want to do this after all.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to the right people, or I didn't. You need some space before you actually start something, is what I think.
I agree with that.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, not live at home and do nothing. No, make them work that year. Make them, hey, this is how life's going to be if you don't finish college or if you don't pick what you want, you know? Yeah. But remember when we were younger, you go to school, or after school, you go to college, or after school, you go to the military. You get a summer off and then you do it.
That was kind of what the plan was. Yeah.
Yeah. And 4-H, when I was in school, 4-H was great. 4-H taught you a lot. And I was in 4-H too. I had a cow. In fact, it was the only bad thing about 4-H, you get attached to that cow. Yeah. You know, you name it, pet it, feed it, and then they butcher it.
So my family was not involved in any of that, so I didn't get experience into that until my kids
got into 4-H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my experience with 4-H and FFA, that stuff was all from my kids and not from my family when I was old or when I was younger. But I think that's one of the greatest programs there is.
Oh, responsibility. You learn money. You learn everything. And you realize, oh, I sold this cow. I'm going to get this much money back. Nope. Taxes and all this. You go, oh no. Reality kind of hits. And
I love like Lamb Show just passed. And then in August is the fair. Mm-hmm. But before all those FFA and 4-H kids bring letters inviting us to the auction. They bring them in.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And like most of them do a little sales pitch, tell us about what's going on. They all get, most of them are dressed up either in their FFA outfit or dressed nicely. They come in with their letter. They introduce themselves. Some of those kids,
yeah,
dude, I'll tell you, last year, this girl came in, her letter, I think her letter said she was 15 years old. The way she was dressed was like a cowgirl, but very professional. Mm-hmm. She talked like she was 25 years old. And she walked up, she had the firmest handshake I've felt in a long time. I mean, she was very confident.
Did she do that pull towards her?
No, she didn't do none of that. None of the weird tricks or none of that. But she just had a firm handshake. She was confident. She talked like a freaking professional. Like she's been doing this for years and years and years. I mean, when she left, I looked at my freaking employee that's were in there, and I was like, man, I would hire that girl in a heartbeat. And then I read her letter and stuff, and that's where I discovered she was only 15 years old. But it just blew my mind.
Wow.
A program, and she learned all that from that program. She had to. I mean, I'm sure her parents have probably helped her out a little bit, but not a lot of that stuff is taught anymore. You know, and if you've ever hired anybody, you know that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 4-H is... I remember I was in 4-H. We were taught, every morning you got to take care of your animals.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, you got to clean stalls, you got to feed them, you got to do all this. When I was at the fair to make the money to sell the cows, I was walking around the fair, and there's the boy and girls bathroom towards underneath where the race car track is.
Oh,
that area.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So they have men on the side, not on top, down on the side there, by the door, and women's by the door. We have a curfew. You got to be back by 10 o'clock. I got a bloody nose. I used to get bloody noses all the time when I was younger.
Yeah.
The heat would give me bloody noses. So I had a bloody nose. And so I had my finger, trying to plug this nose, trying not, I don't want to show everyone I got a bloody nose. So I had my head up. I walked into the bathroom, was standing there for a while, and I heard some women women coming into the bathroom. I thought, oh, they're cleaning the bathroom. I better, what the heck they're doing? They're cleaning the bathroom. So I went to a stall real quick. Next thing you know, it was full of women, full of girls. So I was like, what is going on here? So I sat in the toilet acting like I was going to the bathroom. And there was a mom and a daughter, the stall next to me. And the daughter was like, hey, mommy, those look like boys' legs. Because I had shorts on. I was like, oh, shoot. I'm in the wrong bathroom. Well, what happened is my head was looking up because I was plugging my nose and I didn't see the men's on the side of the door. They're usually up above, but it wasn't here. So I went to the wrong stall and I was there for 3 freaking hours waiting for it to empty. Past curfew. It was like almost midnight when I got back.
You sat in the bathroom for 3 hours. With
I don't want to be a pervert and walk out. So when I ran out, they saw me run out, the people outside, and I tell you, I got back and I almost got kicked out of 4-H because I was past curfew. I told them, they didn't believe me.
Oh,
and
man.
That was a long 3 hours.
I bet. I bet.
Plus, I know now what goes on in those women's bathrooms. I tell you,
not good.
Yeah, I wish I. But yeah, I did get cauterized after that. That's for sure. I went to the doctor and they cauterized it, and
that's hilarious, man. Oh, so that's cool. You were part of that, though.
The 4-H.
Yeah.
Well, I had a heifer first, and you can't get too much money for heifers. Steer, you can. And so we didn't even sell the heifer. We just showed it. So we got the heifer and I actually sold it to the neighbors. And that darn heifer was so nice. It would let all the steers drink from it, all the babies. And then when we finally got a steer, boy, I tell you, the worst thing is seeing that steer, in my opinion, go off to the old, what's going to happen to it.
Yeah.
The money's good though.
I've seen a lot of the kids, they get pretty attached.
Well, you do. You spend your whole entire time with it.
After the auction, and they're all crying.
What's the point of the steer being a pet? It's discipline is all it is.
Yeah.
It's all about discipline.
Well, and I think that's another good lesson for them.
Yeah.
They're learning, that about loss a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. But I think those are the best programs. It teaches kids a lot of stuff that they don't teach you in school anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
So, you're a handgun guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pack 24 hours. Well, maybe not 24 hours. I always have a gun with me.
Yeah.
No matter where I go, I usually have a gun.
You just upgraded to 10 millimeter?
Got a 10 millimeter FN 510 from you.
Yeah.
Amazing gun.
You like it?
Oh. Yeah, and I did some research on that sucker. And, if you're scared of bear, they say have a 10 millimeter with you. And a new FN 510 holds 22 bullets and one in a chamber. That's amazing.
And are you just handguns? You just like handguns? Or?
I think I have a problem because I have a lot of handguns. No, I don't have a problem. It's just a good problem. But and then I bought my dad one. It was M&P. It was a 9 millimeter. I should never have bought him one. Gosh, I tell you, he needs a revolver and nothing else. There's too many moving parts on that sucker.
Yeah.
Especially
some people are like that. Yeah.
He was cleaning it and he had a bullet in the chamber and it jammed. It could have went off, but it jammed on him. And I was like, Dad, I got to get that back. I don't want you to have it anymore. But no, he still has it. I need to get that back from him.
Maybe you just need to start taking him out shooting more so he becomes more comfortable with it.
Yeah. But yeah, I have rifles, 7 millimeter mag. And then...
Do you hunt?
I went last year with my dad because he was going to go by himself. And I went out there. He's 82. He don't act 82. But he's still he does all the work at his farm, climbs up ladders. He does everything. But he was going to go by himself, so I went with him. And I haven't gone hunting in 20 years. That's the first time in 20 years I went. And I seen this buck, jumped out of the vehicle. Before he even stopped it, I was out. I was fast. Aimed that sucker. His butt was towards me. He was turning his head. So I said, I'm not going to hit him in the ass. I got to shoot his head. So I missed because I was... Small target.
Yeah.
I shot twice and missed twice. And that was it.
So then you were like, that's why I shoot pistols.
Either that or that I must have bumped that. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but maybe inside I didn't want to shoot it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love venison, I mean.
Well, there is some truth to that, because like my grandpa, my whole life, my grandpa's been a hunter.
Yeah.
Or he was a hunter. He passed away. But anyways, my whole life he was a hunter. Big time hunter. Like, I think half the time when I was growing up, going to my grandpa's house, he had an animal hanging in the backyard, hanging in the back shop. But the last few years of his life, I started going and visiting him. He did fire watch and equipment watch on jobs. Oh. So he basically lived in his camp trailer out in the middle of the woods in random places. And we were worried about it because he was old. He was he was 90 when he passed away. So, I mean, he was 85 or so when we started going to visit him. And he's up there by himself for long periods of time. Yeah. So we would go out and we'd take real food and stuff to him. And because he lived on, we went to his camper the first time I went to visit him. He had a can of peanuts. The only food in his fridge was like Jimmy Dean sausage and cans of sardines and Ham's draft beer.
No Spam, huh?
No Spam, dude.
Oh, good.
He was Ham's and Jimmy Dean sausage is what he lived off of. And so we would go and we'd take stuff to barbecue and we'd barbecue a big meal and get him some potato salad and, actual food.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'd take him that stuff. But he hunted his whole life. And I was talking to him about, hunting and that stuff. And he's like, well, anymore, I go out with your uncle or whatnot. He goes, but I don't really shoot anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I like to watch them. They're too pretty to shoot, And but he'd haul his rifle out and go out and go with my uncles or my cousins or whoever. I think he spent a lot of time out with guys on the job and that stuff too. But he just said, no, I don't even try and shoot them anymore. I'll sit there and watch them for 10, 15 minutes till they walk back into the woods.
Yeah, and I think that might be how I am. I'll hunt if I need the food.
Yeah.
If I don't need it, I'm not. I'd rather watch them too. I have nothing against hunting at all. I mean, it's, but personally, I'll go, and if I go hunting with my dad, I'll shoot one because I know he wants one. If faster we shoot one, faster we go home, and he's got one. I remember as kids, I thought he was the best hunter in the world. We'd go up to the woods. He sees 6 doe. He'd shoot them all. And I was like, my gosh, he is amazing. These doe are coming down the hill. And
he's the poaching-ass ass guy.
I had no idea about all the laws or nothing, and I thought he was the greatest hunter. He had 4 freaking bucks in the garage hanging. I'm thinking, my gosh, he's awesome. No, but he had to feed us, and he had to feed 3 boys, and we come home and we have beans and venison and a stack of tortillas. Oh my gosh, wasn't that great? Wasn't that great growing up? And that's the best, isn't it? Venison.
I love
breaded venison is the best, and then venison jerky. Yeah, that's the best. And then fly fishing. I love fly fishing.
Yeah,
I love fishing. I love bass fishing. I love fly fishing. And this weekend we're actually gonna go to Eastern Oregon and fly fish.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's an organization here in town called Fly Fishing for Veterans.
I've seen that.
We help them out a lot. So.
I've been wanting to get a hold of them. I just haven't done it. And it'd be nice to learn some tips from all the old timers.
They do a big thing here at the fairgrounds once a year.
Oh, the competition thing inside?
Well, no, they have fly tires and people teaching fly fishing techniques at the fairgrounds. And I think they get fly tires here from other states.
Wow.
Last year there was I don't know how many people, but he said it was a huge turnout last year. I think they had like 30 different fly tiers there, all with their own little booths, tying flies and teaching how to tie flies and that kind of stuff.
I can't imagine having that much time to tie a fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, imagine just being to sit home, tie a fly, another, they take time. Each fly must take I don't know how long it takes to tie a fly, but
yeah,
I can't imagine having that much time.
Well, I mean, a lot of those guys are old dudes that are retired and stuff.
But then you can't see to tie a fly. I have a hard time when I do fish. The little flies are tiny.
Yeah.
And I just bought these 2.5, you almost tripped over there. There are these glasses you put on your glasses so you look like a nerd, until you flip them down.
But they magnify?
Yeah, just so you can see what you're tying.
You need one of those jeweler's loops that just flips over in front of your eye.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. At least one eye.
Yeah, magnify.
But it would be amazing to be able to tie, figure out what they're biting and just make a bunch of those.
Yeah. I've only tried fly fishing once.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty cool, and I could totally see how I could get into that, but I just haven't had the opportunity to do it again.
Yeah, it is so technical. There's so much.
I just thought it was cool that, unlike regular fishing, you're just kind of guessing where the fish are going to be at, and then you try and hopefully you get a bite. But with fly fishing, you actually see the fish coming to mess with your freaking fly.
Yeah, and the way you present your fly is 100% how it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, there can't be no drag in a fly. You have to make it look natural, and then you got to look at your environment around. What are they eating? Are they eating the adults on top? Or are they eating the eggs, the babies, the nymphs on the bottom? There's just so many terminologies to this too. Yeah. But once you get it down, you still don't know what the hell you're doing. There's so much to learn still.
I think that's cool though. Those are the best things.
It's great because I feel like I'm out there and you're part of the environment. If you do wading in the water, you got the river around you. I mean, it's just a great feeling out there. Even if you don't catch much, it's just neat being out there. But now I have a 10 millimeter, so I'm not scared of bears.
You're just blasting away.
No, not the fish. But I feel safer out there now.
Yeah.
I had a 45, carried it everywhere, but that still don't have enough oomph as a 10 millimeter, right? I mean, a 10 millimeter is still stronger. It's between a 44 and a 45, right?
Yeah. It's, well, I mean.
As power-wise.
Argumentatively, it's definitely got more power though.
Yeah, it's right underneath the 44, as in.
It's basically the semi-automatic version of a 44.
Yeah. Well, the one I have doesn't really kick. I mean, it kicks, but not as. I was afraid to shoot the first time because I heard, 10 millimeter. No, it don't. It's about like my 45. Yeah. So it's not bad.
They're good, and plus that's pistol's got some weight to it. So
with that many bullets, it has a lot of weight.
That takes a lot. If you can't. If you can't knock something down with 20-something rounds of 10 mil, then you're in trouble.
Well, that one guy did shoot that bear 14 times in Alaska, and he barely dropped it after 14
That's
hits.
Probably like a grizzly.
Yeah, it was a grizzly, yeah.
Well, those are a lot bigger than what we got around here.
I can't even imagine one chasing you.
It looks like a Toyota pickup coming after
you. Oh, my gosh. At least when you're hunting, you have a 7, like my 7mm, at least I got that big thing.
I don't, honestly, if I was in Alaska where there's grizzlies or something, that'd be a different story. But my whole life here hunting and stuff, I've never really even been scared of bears. They seem more scared of you than you are of them. I mean, and you don't even see them. I mean, if you make any noise at all, you're not even going to see one. It's just, if you happen to sneak up on one or you happen to somehow get between, a sow and her cubs or something, then you got to worry about it. But otherwise, for the most part, your chances are pretty slim of even running into one.
Well, me and my dad went hunting one time when I was younger, and we snuck up on we didn't mean to, but we walked up on a bear that was taking a shit.
Yeah.
And
they do shit in the woods.
They do shit in the woods. That shit was still steaming, and we heard it. I mean, we pretty much walked up to it, and yeah, and well, me and my wife in the woods, we've seen the babies and climbing the trees and stuff. We're like, oh, there's a mom around here. Let's keep going, you know. But and then me and my daughter, we were driving in Canyonville by the dump in my little Nissan Sentra. We almost hit one. It almost ran into our vehicle. It got so close. It was running to the dump right over the road. And
little trash panda.
Oh, my car?
No.
Oh, no, my car was a trash panda too. Oh, yeah.
Panda.
Yeah, and it was a pretty damn big bear too. Bigger than the car, pretty much. But I mean, yeah, we never had nothing. No, I might take some more of this DiGiorno.
It's right there, man. Yeah, you've got eclectic taste there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite drinks, DiGiorno, by the way, on the ice.
What's the other one? Your Tuaca.
Oh, Tuaca, but
you're over that one now?
I haven't drank that in a while, Tuaca, but you have to.
That's what my wife drank when we first got together.
Yeah, DiGiorno.
I think I was telling you brought me this bottle of DiGiorno because I had never tried it, and which it's not bad, but it's not something I'm going to drink straight.
Yeah, well, it's kind of sweet for you.
But I did use it and created my own old-fashioned recipe with using DiGiorno.
Yeah,
and that was actually pretty good.
Well, it's just amaretto.
Yeah.
It's just a upscale bottle, I guess. It's a pretty bottle, DiGiorno, but yeah. I was at Shamrocks. It's a pretty good bar there in Riddle. It's really pretty good place there. A lot of friendly people. I was there and I actually had 100 proof. There's stuff that was 100 proof there, and I did 3 shots of it.
100 proof amaretto?
No, it was just a different kind of drink. It was just straight 100 proof.
Oh, gotcha.
It was a peppermint flavor. Gosh, I don't even know what it's called now. And they were buying me these drinks, and yeah, no problem. Next day, I didn't have no hangover or nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised. Yeah, that's pretty strong stuff. 100 proof. That's 50% alcohol.
Yeah.
But not that I drink all the time, but you know, sometimes, you know, when you have your own business, you kind of like need to like, right?
So is the Shamrock, because you play poker with your wife?
Yeah,
also.
we play poker.
Is the Shamrock where you guys play usually?
Yep, every Fridays at 6:30, they got 2 games there. It's $20 buy-in.
Nice.
And usually there's, you know, you have 10 to 20 people there. I mean, it's just kind of neat.
So 1 to 2 tables?
Yeah, we usually have 1 or 2 tables.
That's awesome.
Same people usually, and then we get a few new people that show up and beat us all because they're new. You can't read them. But it's fun. It's just fun, you know. I mean, it's 4 hours out of the night, you know.
I like poker.
Well, she's really good at it.
Is she the pro?
Yeah, I mean, she has something. Whenever she plays, you know she has something.
Oh, she's not bluffing.
She don't bluff often. And
she probably bluffs a ton, but she's got everybody convinced because every time she's been called out, she's actually had it.
Yeah. There's a few people that, you know how they play. They just bluff all the time, and you know they're bluffing. Me, I'll play 75% of the time. I'll have a good hand if I play, and then maybe 25% I'll bluff.
Well, I think, it kind of depends. When you're playing with people you play with all the time, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But you don't want to become known as the person that's always bluffing.
And there's a few that are that way. Yeah.
They're like, well, this fucking clown never has anything. But that'll be the one time that they actually do, and you'll lose your ass on them. So.
Yeah, and the new people that play, you don't know how to read them at all, and they end up whipping you.
So how did you and your wife end up getting into playing poker? I really want my wife to get into playing poker.
So
and she's not interested
back in 2009, they had River Dogs. I think it was 2010, 11, something like that.
I remember River Dogs.
River Dogs back in Riddle, and it was actually just free. It was well, I think you pay to play, but I mean, it was a point system. So if you win a tournament, you get a bunch of points, and at the end of the year, you add the points, and then you get a ticket to the World Series of Poker. And so we would play, and we would play every week, and so we would get pretty good at it. And then,
that was just like something to do on date night type of thing, or
not really. We just went. It wasn't even a date night thing. It was just on a Thursday too. It was on a Thursday. So before that, we never played. So we just went and tried it one time, and yeah, this is great. They were nice about it. They showed us how to play, and we gotten better and better, and pretty soon we were doing pretty good. And then River Dogs kind of ended for a while, and then they started this up again, and so we did it again. This is it's not River Dogs. It's not a cash game. It's a tournament game. Cash games are totally different than tournament games, of course. But yeah, it's fun, you know.
Yeah, my wife likes cards.
Yeah,
but she likes like rummy and stuff like that. I like poker,
yeah.
So I really would like to get my wife to play because I think it'd be cool for us to play in a tournament together or something. Be something for us to do together. So I was
how come she don't?
She just has no interest in poker. I think maybe because we play for money. I don't know. She's just never expressed any interest in it at all.
And she'd probably be good at it.
Well, she's good at other cards. Her and I, we have like an ongoing competition with cribbage. Like friggin', her and I are been going back and forth.
You know, cribbage. There's someone who plays poker with us.
Yeah.
He goes and plays cribbage tournaments, and he won $45,000 on a game up north. I think it was in Washington. I never knew they had tournaments for cribbage that paid that much.
There's a lot involved in cribbage.
That's that little. Yeah. I just thought old people played cribbage.
No, it's fun, dude.
But I guess everyone plays cribbage, apparently.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not great at it. I will say though, I am in the lead against my wife.
On cribbage.
Yeah. But she can kick my ass at freaking rummy and all those other games.
Huh. Yeah, I don't really play too many. I get bored really quick.
I'm not a huge. I don't like to. I don't know. I like cards, but I could go without them too. Yeah. I like games that make me laugh. Like well, I love Cards Against Humanity. I think that.
Well, you remember Monopoly growing up?
Yeah.
Families would get in fights from that game. There's divorces from that game. I mean,
did you guys play that?
No, we played Monopoly growing up, and as kids and stuff. And your whole goal was to demolish the next person. Get Boardwalk, and then you got it made. Boardwalk and a few other ones, and you demolish everyone.
I played Monopoly actually. I think I was playing with my wife and son.
That's a long game.
We played a game of Monopoly just a few months ago.
Oh.
I think for nostalgia purposes or whatever. And I was the first one eliminated. It was freaking stupid.
Lucky.
And I was like, yeah, I don't like this game anymore at all. And I just wasn't into it.
Yeah. It's kind of neat when you got a big stack of money on it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I did not. I was getting my ass kicked the whole time. I kind of think my wife teams up with whoever's playing against me on like every game, but
yeah, that's not good. So if you play poker with her, you better make sure she sits on your left side, right?
I guess, yeah.
No, on your right side, because you want to know what she's going to do first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing is with me and my wife playing,
you guys probably half the time aren't even on the same table.
Well, no matter what, she's either got to be at a different table or not right next to me, because I don't want no one to ever think that we're like, hey, wink, wink, do this, this, and this.
You guys got special signs.
And the thing is, she either takes me out or I take her out. I mean, we have no mercy. That's just the way you got to do it, You
guys talk smack to each other?
She does more than me.
So every time I've been around your wife, she's super quiet. So yeah. I just can't even picture her talking smack. But I haven't seen her liquored up or nothing.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's a little different.
She probably gets all fiery.
Yeah. Yeah, she does. She's good at poker though. I mean, she's pretty good.
So what other stuff are you guys into? What do you guys do? You got kids?
Got one daughter. She's 30 this year. November she'll be 30. She's pregnant. She'll have a she's pregnant, man.
She's gonna be a grandpa.
Well,
huh?
yeah, next in August is when she's due. I think I'm right there.
That's awesome, dude.
First grandkid.
Congrats.
Yeah, believe it or not, I want a granddaughter. We don't even know what the baby's going to be yet. They didn't want to know.
Oh, they're doing the surprise
Yeah,
thing?
it's a surprise thing. They all think it's going to be a boy, and it looks like it might be a boy. I guess the way the stomach, the way it's set up. I don't either. And a granddaughter would be amazing. Grandboy would be amazing too. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I have one daughter growing up, and I mean one daughter, and I've always thought, man, I want a boy until I had a daughter. And it's having a daughter is just great because it's just the love. It's just
I had two daughters.
Yeah,
and then my wife has a son, and then we've raised my niece and nephew also.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bunch of our kids' friends and stuff, we've helped raise them as well. So, I mean, I've got to experience both, but I'm kind of partial to girls. I don't know why.
The way they are, they love you so much, you know, and I know boys do too.
I think it's kind of you know, it's always daddy's girl,
mama's
boy, that type of thing. But
yep.
I think with grandkids, it might not be like that because, like, I have granddaughters,
mm-hmm.
and they're pretty much only interested in me when nobody else is there to be cool.
I guess a grandson would be great too because I never had a son.
Either way, I think you'll be happy, dude. I think you'll be good.
Yeah, I want to teach them
stupid stuff.
Well, no, I want to fly fishing is what I want to teach them really young.
Awesome, yeah.
You know, and then I'm going to go to Grandpa's fly fishing. Yeah, you know, and all that stuff.
Nice.
I just don't want him to be like I was when I was growing up to my parents. Oh my gosh. But I think, you know, my daughter and her husband, they're going to raise them pretty well. They're going to raise them stricter than I would raise them, actually, to tell the truth. They're going to raise them really strict, I can tell. And so when they go
it's the first kid, so the first kid's always kind of screwed, you know.
Yeah.
That's always the kid that, you can't touch my kid till you wash your hands. You know, no, you can't be on the ground, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The second kid, you kind of don't give a shit anymore. You're like, oh no, he can eat that dirt.
Well, I can't even imagine having 3 kids. 2 would have been kind of nice, but 3, I can't even imagine that. I don't know how my mom did it, you know, with 3 boys that are.
I honestly think once you have more than one,
mm-hmm.
it gets easier. Like they take care of each other. You know, they keep each other occupied, so it gives you a little bit of a chance to do whatever. I don't know. It sounds like your siblings though are a little bit farther apart.
My brother's a year and a half older than me, and my younger brother's 3 years younger than me.
Oh, so it's not huge.
Not bad. No, or maybe 4.
Did you guys beat the crap out of your little brother?
We didn't beat him up as in with our fists, but we sure did. I mean, he's been shot by arrows. He's been shot by a lot of stuff. Not guns. I wouldn't say we never shot him with a gun or nothing. But
you ever shot him with a BB gun or nothing?
Oh, a BB gun, yes.
Yeah.
I shot him with the pellet gun, actually.
Freaking bottle rockets.
Well, my older brother told him to get behind a tree, and he was like, "Okay, stay there. I'm going to shoot the tree, and then when I hit it, you come out and act like you got shot." He jumps out too soon, and my brother shoots him right in the chest with the arrow.
Like an actual arrow?
An actual arrow. And it went in, but it didn't go in far enough to penetrate the heart or nothing, but it stuck in there and it came down.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
I bet your mom.
Yes. And then a lot of stuff with Ricky, actually. My older brother would shoot the arrows up in the air where you can't see them, and then we'd run around the field.
Oh God.
And they'd come down, and what a thrill that was when we were kids. They'd land on the neighbor's roof, land next to us, you know. How stupid. You remember those darts,
Lawn darts.
lawn darts. How did we get away with not killing each other with those? We would throw them up and run around, and they'd come down.
Those were heavy as shit.
And they were heavy. They would penetrate your brain.
Yeah.
If they hit you.
If nothing, even if they just glanced off your head, they'd probably knock you out.
Oh, man. And my younger brother, he went through a lot. He lost his finger by putting his finger in a fan belt in a tractor one time when he was like 4. He was, bing, you hear a bing. What was that? Oh, crap. His finger's gone. He got trampled by a horse a few times. I mean, we were out there in the...
God, you made you guys go to the hospital a lot.
Well, we were looking, and this little pony, we had a pony that was wild, and he walked out in the field, and that pony knocked him on the ground and started bucking on his body.
Oh, shit.
Luckily, there was mud, so he was inside the mud, a little bit of softness. But, yeah, that kid, he's been through a lot.
I remember one time my little brother and we got in a fight. Stupidest fight ever. We got in a fight. I had a friend over. We were making microwave chicken nuggets, and there was an uneven amount.
Yeah.
And so I gave my friend the extra chicken nugget, and my little brother had a fucking conniption fit because he wanted the extra chicken nugget. So we got in a fight, and my little brother's almost 2 years younger than me. And so we got in this fight over this chicken nugget, and I was freaking gonna kick his ass. And then he just like ran out in the freaking back porch and grabbed on the barbecue, the little fork.
Yeah.
The little 2-pronged fork thing. He comes in and he's like swinging it at me. And I was like, what are you going to do with that? You going to stab me with this freaking fork? He swings it and it slices my freaking arm open. And then I was done. I was going to kick his ass. And I freaking went to grab him, and he took off running and locked himself in the bathroom for like 2 hours until my parents got home.
Oh, wow.
Until my mom got home. All over one chicken nugget. Dude. It was this stupid.
Well, he felt betrayed. He thought you were going to
It's a good thing he didn't unlock that bathroom, because I think I would have killed him, dude. I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad that he cut my arm with that freaking barbecue thing.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's you always pick on your little brother.
You remember Steve Austin or the Bionic Man growing up?
Oh, yeah.
We were doing that one time. We were climbing up this mountain, and my older brother was Steve Austin, Bionic Man.
Did he slow-mo it?
Yeah, of course, always slow motion. That was a good show. And
yeah, I'd try and watch it now. You'd be like, this is trash.
And then you walk slow. It's like, wait a minute, this ain't right. We were climbing this mountain one time, and I was Bigfoot. Remember Bigfoot on that episode with he was
I do remember that, yeah.
He was on there, and then I think Ricky must have been Bionic Woman. I don't know. We were climbing up, and I think Roy was actually Bigfoot. And he was throwing these big boulders down this hill, and we were dodging them. I was Bionic Man, so I could dodge them and stuff. Ricky got hit by this big-ass boulder. It hit him on his head. We thought he was dead.
Jesus.
Because these boulders were the type that when they hit, what's that rock that fractures really easy? It falls apart. There's a name for it. Shell. This shell wasn't a shell, apparently, because it hit him, didn't shatter. And so he was down and out, and we thought we killed him. Blood everywhere. And he woke up. Don't tell Mom.
You're like, oh,
don't tell Mom, please.
You're like, we weren't gonna believe it.
I won't. Mom. He runs up there and tells her, and man, she beat the heck out of us. Yeah, that's Steve Austin, though. Growing up, that was some good stuff. Dukes of Hazzard.
I loved it.
Steve Austin. Gilligan's Island.
Remember Greatest American Hero?
Oh, yes, I remember that. I made a Greatest American Hero cape. Why couldn't he just find the gosh damn directions to fly that suit?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, he could fly.
The aliens didn't leave him.
He could fly, he just couldn't land.
Oh, what a show that was, right?
We were watching that, my little brother and I, one time, and this is years after that show was out. We tried to watch it. It's so funny, the stuff that they don't have on those old shows. Like, there was like that whatever her name was, his girlfriend on that show, or the girl he liked. Like,
I think it was Mindy. No, I'm not
you
sure.
knew they were gonna freaking kiss,
Uh-huh.
but they never showed it. Like they'd go like they were gonna kiss, and it'd cut to a commercial break, and it'd come back and they'd be doing something else. You never saw any actual intimacy. Just the idea of it.
But they'll show a dude in underwear flying.
Yeah. Well, he had like spandex under his underwear.
Yeah.
So, but it was funny that, it was like, that was a good, wholesome show,
Yeah, some of the stuff back then they showed, you're like, how did they get away with it?
Mindy was from Mork and Mindy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mork and Mindy. Yeah.
Nanu.
Well, all those shows were pretty good. I mean,
God.
but when we got out of school, there was Little House on the Prairie. What else show? Around 4:30, they showed The Fall Guy was at night. Remember The Fall Guy?
Yeah, Fall Guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that new movie now too.
That looks good, actually.
It looks funny.
It does look good. That was a good show back then.
I used to have a Matchbox car of the Fall Guy truck.
Oh, yeah. Dukes of Hazzard. That was really popular. Now you watch it like, how'd that car jump off of that? What is there, a ramp on everything? They jump up? But
Knight Rider, dude. Knight Rider was good. A-Team.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of good shows back then.
Yeah, A-Team was pretty good, but they never killed it. Oh, well, a lot of gun, a lot of bullets flying. No one ever got killed. No one ever got shot.
Some of the portrayal of the firearms in that show were horrible, dude. They were so horrible. Everything was fully automatic in that show.
Yeah. But no one ever died.
Yeah. No.
You'd have explosions.
Well, they never aimed at anything. Everything was shot from the hip. I was like, what? Yeah. What are they doing?
Mr. T. I pity the fool.
Yeah, that was a good time for TV, dude.
How about the Gong Show?
Oh God, I hated that show. There was so much stupid shit on that. My aunt loved that. I had to watch it all the time when I was a kid. We lived in Portland when I was growing up. I was born here, but we lived in Portland. But every year during the summer, I was a kid, so I don't know time. But we came down. My little brother and I would come down here to Roseburg and stay with my aunt and uncle, and my grandpa and aunt and uncle lived next door to each other, so we would stay between the two of those places. For I think it was like a month every summer. They'd take us camping all the time, and we'd do stuff. But my aunt and uncle, they watched the Gong Show. They'd let us stay up late if we were good to watch freaking Johnny Carson and that kind of stuff. My aunt was, I guess now she would have been considered freaking like one of the crazy conspiracy theory people, because she would sit there and read National Enquirer from cover to cover. But we would come stay with them every weekend, and every summer, and they'd take us camping. We'd go to Hemlock Lake and stuff, and my uncle taught me how to fish my first fish, which I'm pretty sure in hindsight was in a creek that was like almost out of water, and basically the fish was stuck in a puddle. And he basically
dying of starvation.
He just kept it in the puddle until it finally bit my freaking
oh my god
bait. And but yeah, that was my first fish. So,
hey, you caught one though. Yeah. It was a good feeling, huh?
But I mean, I also learned, like, we went to I remember going to Lake in the Woods.
Oh gosh,
we were fishing with pieces of cheese.
You're talking about that small pond?
Yeah, it's a pond.
Yeah.
But we were fishing with like pieces of cheese and corn and stuff, and I was catching fish left and right at that point.
I remember the Lake in the Woods. We thought, Lake in the Woods. We drove up there and we're like, well, let's stop at this pond first before we go to the Lake in the Woods. That was Lake in the Woods.
Yep. It's great, dude.
And then Hemlock Lake's past it, so we went out there and we went over there and we had our boat, and there was these people in our way, on the boat ramp, and they wouldn't move. It was a whole family. It was like 20 people in a family. They weren't moving at all. We were like, hey, we got to back up our boat. they ignored us, and so we pretty much bumped them out of the way. I didn't have a very good experience at Hemlock Lake.
Well, we've been there. We go there all the time now still. To this day,
And they have trout and stuff there.
Yeah, I don't do a ton of fishing, but yeah, we have a good time up there. But yeah,
let's do a dirt road that you have to drive to get there, right?
Yeah, super bad washboards too. So like it'll rattle everything off the shelves in your freaking RV or camper. Yeah, it's a drive, but it's a pretty place, and for the most part, you get. I mean, there's usually a few people camp there, but it's never like crazy busy.
Huh.
But yeah, so you do mostly fly fishing though, so you're probably going to the river more.
Well, we do a lot of bass fishing. Yeah. We do more bass fishing than fly fishing. Our favorite bass place is 10 Mile Lake.
Yeah.
10 Mile Lake, as in
boat,
lakeside. Yeah. We have a sled boat, but we have a big trolling motor on it, and well, not big, but big enough. And that Shannon caught a 9-pounder largemouth in 10 Mile Lake, the North Lake, and I've caught 4.5 pounders. Nothing like that, but. Our favorite lakes. It's amazing. I love that place. I love Lakeside. I love that area.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, I had a chance to get a lake house when the prices were real down, and a couple years later, man, you can't afford those things.
Should have done it.
I know. I should have done it.
You could be making money on it now.
Well, we have Airbnb, and it's a good deal. Airbnbs are a good investment. I mean, pretty soon, I don't know how long they're even going to last before they start regulating it, and there's too many of them out there. But yeah, we've had ours for about 8 years. But if you do an Airbnb in the lakeside, yes, it's great, but you have to, as soon as if it's only, you can get to it with a boat only, that's it, most of those houses.
Yeah.
You got to clean them when people leave, so how are you going to do that unless you hire someone to clean it every time they leave? And
my buddy... Mike, he's usually on the podcast here.
Yeah.
His son's got a job over there at Lakeside. He works for a contractor who's got it's like a barge type thing.
Okay, yeah.
Well, he's a contractor with this barge, and he loads all his equipment and building materials and barges it to these lake houses.
And builds the barges
Basically,
for him.
he's a contractor for just the lake houses.
Okay.
And he's one of the only ones that does that.
I must have seen his, because he has a barge company right there on the South Lake.
Yeah. Well, anyways, my buddy Mike's son works for that guy.
Oh, all right.
And I was like, that's brilliant. Because I mean, who else is going to, there can't be, you're not going to get a bunch of competition doing that. Because that's a very specific thing, and there's only so much work. So, I mean, one guy could take a monopoly on all of it.
Oh, man.
But yeah, and then my wife, she just turned me on. I can't remember the name of the website, but it's just like Airbnb, but it's just pieces of property that people have for you to camp on. And a lot of them have like RV spots and stuff like that. She's been on that for like 2 or 3 days now because her and her friend are going to take our RV for a little girls' weekend somewhere. And that's what they decided to do because they don't want to be around a bunch of people. And, she's been showing me. I was like, that's brilliant. A lot of these pieces of property that I'm looking at, I'm like, that's obviously not a usable piece of property for like building. But they put a freaking fire pit and some connections for an RV on there. And they're making $50-$60 a night for half the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen this one Airbnb and it had a trailer, like you just said. This sucker can hold maybe one person. $75 a night.
Yeah.
And it's a trailer.
My wife just did Airbnb. Her and a couple of her friends stayed in a caboose.
Yeah.
On some property down, I think it was out Northern California somewhere.
Well, I mean, it's the way to go because, a motel, you get a room. That's all you get. And if you're lucky, they have a lounge someplace. Airbnb, you get the whole house, whatever. Ours is a whole living quarters, a whole house, pretty much, and 2-night minimum, and it's still cheaper. It's $140 a night, but it's 2-night minimum.
Well, you can't hardly find a hotel for that anymore.
But it holds, 6 people, 8 people, whatever, 8 people, and you get a motel
Yeah.
You're paying way more than that.
Freaking Motel 6, you used to be able to go Motel 6 10 years ago for $40 a night. Now, I'm pretty sure unless you negotiate, you're not getting it for under $100 a night.
Motel 6.
And that's for a shitty hotel.
Yeah,
horrible.
We went to this one in California. It was late at night. You know, we always lift the bedspreads up. We always do. Luckily, we did this time because there was about an inch of hair on that sucker. It's like someone shaved their legs on purpose on the bed.
Oh, gross.
Imagine if it would have been late at night, we didn't see, we just jump in bed. All that hair.
I usually, when we stay at a hotel,
Ugh.
Unless it's a nice hotel, like if we go to the casino or something, I know they take pretty good care of their stuff, but if I stay at like a cheap hotel, like if we're on a road trip or something, I'll usually just sleep on top. I always grab that spare blanket they got in the closet and just sleep on top.
Well, I would definitely pull off the bedspread, the top off, because who knows what goes on that thing.
I just don't even worry about it. I'm not too worried. But...
Yeah, really, if you think about it, unless it's penetrating your skin, it ain't gonna hurt you too bad.
I'm gonna take a shower in the morning either way.
Yeah.
So,
well,
usually by the time I go to bed, I've already had a couple glasses of whiskey. So
there's this one place at the coast. I won't name the name, but we had a pet with us, so we went inside, and we did the same thing. We pull off the bedspread, and there's a big 3x3 piss stain on the bed, and it was wet still.
Oh, gross.
But we didn't tell the people because we had a dog with us, and we thought, oh, they're going to blame us for having a dog. Yeah, so we ended up sleeping on the floor with our sleeping bags. Yeah, motels you got to watch out for those.
Nice.
But yeah, man, this has been nice. I'm glad you're doing this. This podcast thing. It's
a good time. I like it. I get to freaking hang out with cool people that I like hanging out with anyways.
Is it pretty hard to get into this? Is it pretty complicating?
No, the most complicated thing I've figured out is how to edit.
Yeah.
Which my first couple episodes, obviously I didn't know what I was doing. Starting to learn a little bit better. But otherwise, I didn't want to have just crap. So I tried to get stuff that was recommended equipment-wise. So that costed me a little bit more than I thought it would to get started, but otherwise it's pretty easy. The hardest part is making sure you stay ahead of scheduling, so stay consistent.
How far ahead are you now?
I try and keep about 4 episodes recorded ahead of what's actually being posted. I wanted to keep about 5 or 6, but I've already had to dig into some of my backlog, so
like repeat stuff.
No, I haven't had to repeat, but just like I didn't start till I had 6 episodes recorded.
Yeah.
Well, one of those episodes will never be heard from by anybody because I got too drunk and said a bunch of stuff that I don't want the world to hear. But and then one week I didn't actually have a guest, so I had to go into my bank. So probably eventually I'll end up having to take a week or 2 off.
Yeah.
So that I can build my bank up a little bit more.
Oh, makes sense.
But for now, I'm just trying to make sure I get at least 1 guest a week. And that keeps me ahead of the curve. And this way I can consistently launch an episode every week and keep it cool.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty nice. You're relaxed. You get to see the traffic go by. You get to see people walking. So...
Well, I appreciate you coming on, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I encourage people to keep a positive attitude out there because things will, I'm not sure if they'll get better, but, I mean, it could be worse.
I think things are relative to your attitude.
Yeah.
If you keep a positive attitude, you're going to see the positive shit happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you focus on the negative stuff, that's all you're going to see.
And the golden rule, I believe in the golden rule. If you do the golden rule, you should be okay. Just treat people like you want to be treated. That's really, I mean, it's hard, but if you do that, things usually work out, for the most part.
Right on.
Really.
So, You got big. You said you're going fly fishing over in Eastern Oregon this weekend.
Yeah. We're gonna go over there and Amadres.
Madras.
Yeah.
What river's over there? Metolius or something?
You know,
Actually,
it's not the Deschutes and it's not the Crooked River. There's another river there apparently, and I'm gonna try that one.
Nice. That's awesome.
I tried the Crooked River twice because I heard there's 10,000 fish per square mile, you know, and all this and this and this. Either I was doing it wrong or I just missed the boat. Beautiful, beautiful. It's like the mini Grand Canyon there. It's very pretty. The Crooked River is just amazing. It's a Prineville area, right next to Prineville. I mean, it's worth just to go see it. But I had no luck. I mean, I caught a few in here and there, but nothing like they said on TV. I watched YouTube and I saw how pretty it was and how much they were catching.
Is the catching important to you, or is it?
Not really, or else I would have quit already because sometimes I don't, catch nothing. And well, the technique.
Because I think most fly fishermen I talk to could really. I mean, they're super happy when they catch a couple.
Yeah, but
I think they'll fish all day long anyways.
It's just being out there, and then you don't have to think about nothing but and.
Well, because fly fishing, you actually kind of got to think about it while you're doing it.
Yeah, so pretty much. I mean,
I do a lot of bank fishing, just regular cast and sit.
Yeah.
Bank fishing.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no thinking. In fact, half the time I kind of forget that I'm even fishing.
Yeah. You do more movement when you do fly fishing because you do cast out and you do watch, your indicators if they could pop up and down. And you can't have any drag whatsoever on your fly. You got to make it look natural. So you got to constantly watch. But I love being out there because you see like bald eagles. You see just everything all around you. The sound of the river is just so relaxing, But yeah, it's just fun. It's just relaxing.
Any other big plans while you're over there? Eat some good food.
No, we're taking a metal detector. We're going to do some metal detecting and maybe some gold panning and stuff. But no, I mean, food wise, if we, I'm always looking for new places to eat, and usually it's the dive bars or the dive restaurants that are the best.
That's where my wife goes.
Like we went to this one place in Seaside. You know how Seaside's really popular and stuff. We went to this little side street and went to this little bar. What an awesome place. We were sitting there, and next thing you know, the whole bar was full, and everyone was just treating you good and stuff. Those little small places are the best, usually. And
plus, we like to spark up conversations with locals that are chilling.
They know where to go. They know what to do. They know what to say. It's just, that's the fun part. Yeah.
Sounds like your wife and I, and your wife and you, and my wife and I, we could have a good weekend together, dude.
That one story you were telling me about with your brother, that was amazing. Your stepbrother, or no, the cousin or something.
Oh, my cousin in Astoria?
How amazing is that story?
Yeah.
You end up going
we were
over at night. Let's see if I got this story right. You went, it was past already, you were supposed to check in, right? Or whatever. You got there late at night. So you went to this restaurant that was closed, right? And you knocked on the door, they let you in, and your brother or your cousin worked there, and you haven't seen him for what, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, well, sort of. So we went to the liquor store because I wanted to make sure I had a bottle of whiskey when we got back to the hotel. And at the liquor store, I asked them, where's a good place that we can get some food and have a drink? And I'm not opposed to like a little dive bar.
Yeah.
I just want good company, good food, and someone that knows how to make a drink.
And what story? What town was this?
Astoria.
Yeah, Astoria.
And so he tells me go to the Maritime. So I was like, okay, cool. So we went, and I don't know if you've ever been to Astoria. It's like a bunch of one-way.
Yeah, I remember.
So we're driving around the block like 5 times, making sure we found the right place, and then we had to find a spot to park that wasn't a million miles away. We park, and Astoria is cool. It's like, in fact, I don't even understand how most of those stores can make it in that small of a town, but it's cool. But we got there and it's late. Most of the stores are closed, and we park, and we get out of the rig, and I just wanted to walk up onto the main road where all these little shops are and kind of look, because it looked cool. It looked like a cool little town, to see if I wanted to go there during the day. Well, I walk up to this right where we're parked. I walk to the shop and I look at the window, and it's a deli, and they were just closed. They were just about to close, and I'm like, and my wife's like, "What is it?" And I go, "It's a deli." And then she's like, "Well, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I just wanted to look." And then she said something, and then we're standing there, and when we were driving there, I told her the last I heard, my cousin lived there in that town, and while we were driving, she was on her phone looking on Facebook and looked him up. And anyways, I'm standing there getting ready to walk around the corner to look on this road at these shops, and she's like, "Hey, I think this is the place where your cousin works." And I was like, "What?"
When's the last time you talked to him?
Years ago, probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And 10, 15 years ago, something like that. And I was like, that'd be weird if he was here. I was like, let's go inside and check it out. So we walk inside, and he's right there. I see him walk in the back right when I walked in. And I was like, I think that was my cousin I just saw. It was funny. So I talked to him. It was awesome. We had said hello, gave each other a hug. And he's like, well, I'll be off in about 45 minutes. And I said, well, we're just going over across the street to the Maritime to have dinner and have a couple drinks. We'll wait for you if you want to come over. He come and hung out with us, had dinner with us. And then we met in the morning and had breakfast. And we've been talking ever since. We're like totally reconnected.
Yeah, because you guys haven't talked
trip
at all.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's pretty neat.
If you're ever over there in Astoria, you should check out that Maritime place. It was pretty neat.
Well, we went there. Gosh, it's been about 10 years we went there. And we got one of our biggest traffic tickets going up.
I can understand that.
On the way up, it was
crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
It's all one-way streets, and you totally could end up going the wrong way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool.
They had that house, Goonie House.
The Goonie House,
and
yeah. My wife had to go see that. Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah, with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
They had that movie there and stuff, yeah.
It's awesome.
They had that tower, some tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to that. We did all the tourist crap. Yeah. Well, anyways, I've probably kept you long enough. I know you probably want to go home for the day.
Well, I'm pretty buzzed now, so I don't know if I can even drive.
Well, that's all right. You can hang out. We'll just drink. Make your wife.
Just kidding. Yeah. But
we'll lock your van up behind the store.
But
yeah. But thank you for coming, man. It's been awesome having you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And I don't know. We'll have to. You and I see each other quite a bit, so I'm sure we'll talk a lot. And maybe we'll do this again in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So
maybe your employees can come on and tell us what a shitty boss you are.
They'll only do it once.
Yeah. Perfect. Right on. Well, thank you for coming, man. And everybody out there, have a great weekend. And until next time, this has been Spare Time.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. All right.